Python has some well-loved tools for text processing and dealing with strings. But just as pandas was able to bring some advantage dealing with arithmetic operations on entire arrays that are great advantages over what Python brings to bear, pandas can also make things easier with text or with string data as well. One of the advantages is in the application of regular expressions, which we're really not going to get into much at this point. So I'm going to postpone that exploration until we reach a point where we actually need to, and then we'll do a little bit of a deep dive on regular expressions. But for now, let's just talk about some of these methods that are already available to us in Python, and then look at some pandas extensions. So we've already been using the Python split method in recent lessons, and here we're taking this string. We have some comma delimiters here. We're going to split this string on those delimiters. And although split is very useful, and it does create an iterable object here, it does not deal very well with white space. So here we have two white spaces in the second index of this split generated Python list. And so we'll often use this strip method to deal with that. So what we're doing down here, we have a for loop, and we're looping through this iterable object. Now remember, this is not an iterable object, but this is. This syntax here, this code right here represents an iterable list. So we're going to loop through that list with this for loop, and we're going to apply the Python strip method to that and put all of that into a new list called clean. Let's run this. And strip effectively cleans any white space out. So this is a very useful combination of the strip and the split method to keep in mind. We can unpack this clean method now and put these three values into three different variables. Let's do that. And of course we know the third variable is piano, and the second, this B character here. Now if we'd like to reintroduce delimiters, we can do that with simple concatenation. We've created a pipe delimited string, but actually concatenation like this is very slow compared to the join method. And the join method actually is a little bit simpler. So all we do is we define our delimiter, and then we do a dot join and pass our sequence into that join method. Here we've reintroduced our delimiters, and it's a much easier and more powerful way as far as processing speed. Now we're familiar with this in keyword, and you can probably predict what this will do. It's asking the question, does this substring exist in the main string of this txt1? And that turns out to be true. We can also use the find method here to see, well, is this character, can we find it in text1? This will result in a 1 if it's true, but let's put a dash in here and run this, and it results in a -1 if it's not true. Now we can also use the index keyword here. If it's not true, it's going to result in an error, but let's put an A in here because we know an A exists. If it is true, it's going to give us the index of the A. Right? See, so here's the A index. We'll run this again. Let's just see what this is counting here. If we go back up here, we see that in this string we have index 0, here's index 1, index 2, and index 3. Then we have 2 white spaces, so that's 4 and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So here this dot index method is telling us that the O in piano is the 10th indexed item. We can also use the dot count method to tell us how many A's there are in the text item. There are 2 A's. And we can also use replace. Replace will take the commas and replace them with these forward slashes. We can also use replace to delete an object. Take this portion of the string, piano, and replace it with nothing, and we can delete in that way as well. So there, piano has been deleted, but we have these 2 extra spaces here. if we'd like to delete them, we just add 2 spaces and run that, and then we have only A and B left over.